Welcome back. T-Mobile still under scrutiny since launching its Binge On campaign. Several outlets, including YouTube, have raised net neutrality concerns. And in the latest episode of this saga, nonprofit digital rights organization Electric Frontier Foundation, or EFF, tweeted the company's CEO asking, at John Legere, does Binge On alter the video stream in any way or just limit its bandwidth? Hashtag AskJohn, to which Legere responded with a video tweet.
What Binge On does, it includes a proprietary technology, and what the technology does is not only detect the video stream, but select the appropriate bit rate to optimize to the mobile device. That's part A of my answer. Part B of my answer is, who the are you anyway, EFF? Why are you stirring up so much trouble, and who pays you?
Well, Legere later tweeted, let me be clear, I know who the EFF is. I'm sure they do a lot of great things for consumers, but innovation can be controversial. This is not a personal campaign against EFF. He continued, it's simply a topic in a broader conversation about consumer choice, which I'm fighting for. Joining us now is Jeremy Gallullo. He's a staff technologist at the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Must be interesting inside those halls today, Jeremy. What is the point of the comment that you initially made about T-Mobile's Binge On program? What is the concern?
The comment, the reason we asked that tweet was we wanted to get a clear answer on whether it was T-Mobile doing the optimization or whether they were just throttling video and hoping that the servers who send the video are doing the optimization.
And why does that matter?
It matters because, you know, for big providers like YouTube, automatically changing the bit rate, making sure that the video streams smoothly is not that hard. But if you're just a small mom and pop website and you host your video yourself, you may not have the technology. And so if you're trying to reach T-Mobile customers, then your video will probably just stutter instead of streaming smoothly.
Okay, so what you're saying, and it's funny because YouTube is one of the people who's upset about what T-Mobile is doing, but you're saying it's really not YouTube that's the issue. It's a smaller website that I, as a T-Mobile Binge On user, might be loading to view video, and I might not be able to see it, so that violates net neutrality?
Essentially. I mean, what the biggest issue is that it violates the idea that T-Mobile should be honest both with its customers, but also with the rest of the internet about how it's managing its network. If you don't know how they're managing the network, then you don't know, do I need to adapt the bit rate on my video so that I can reach T-Mobile customers?
Right, okay. So what do you make of the response there from John Legere?
I mean, obviously, like he said later, he does know who EFF is. And I take him at his word. I think we actually are both fighting for the users. It's just he has a slightly different idea of what customer choice really means.
Well, I guess, is there a way to accommodate both sides here? If you're somebody in John Legere's place, you want to expand his customers' access to these things at a good price, is there a way to have that happen and satisfy everybody involved?
I certainly think so. I think the biggest thing is just, in terms of that, is making Binge On opt-in instead of opt-out. He talked a lot about customer choice, but then he made it the default for all of his customers. I think a better way would be to give the customers that choice. Say, look, if you want this service, it benefits you, it's less data. Here's how you turn it on.
Evan?
I think he's a very clever salesman who knows how to get good press at all times, and so probably gave that video tweet very deliberately, enclosing whatever words and exclamations that he did for very deliberate reasons. Yeah, he's like the Mark Cuban of the the telecoms industry.
Do you have any underlying concerns about what this?
Yeah, no, I mean, the question is whether or not the product is as advertised. Is it delivered? Because in this life, as we know, nothing is free. There are trade-offs to everything. And the real question that they're asking him is, what exactly are the trade-offs here for this offer that you're making? And nobody really knows.
I thought it was interesting, Jeremy, that you just said really the only thing that he'd have to do to placate your concerns is make it opt-in instead of opt-out. So let's assume for a moment that it's opt-in. It reminds me a little bit of the overdraft fees thing, but that's another issue. But if it's opt-in and consumers are opting in, does the EFF have any problem with that? I mean, is this then a move that's in the positive, in the interest of consumers?
I mean, so there's a second part to that besides the opt-in, which I think is being clear about, and what, like we've talked about, what is actually happening, what T-Mobile is actually doing on their network. At this point, I think everybody realizes it. T-Mobile is still sticking to this idea of calling it optimization, even though everyone knows that's not what it is. But getting beyond that, I think we would certainly have a lot less of a problem. Then we get to other issues about zero rating and things like that. but certainly making it opt-in, being clear about what's going on would be huge first steps and would allay a lot of our concerns.
Yeah. So what really is going on here, especially because as we've seen in the past, T-Mobile has been at the frontier, whether it's pushing for contractless plans or kind of reimbursing consumers, and the tactics notwithstanding, they really have caused a lot of change throughout the industry. So what happens if others are forced or choose to follow suit?
I mean, I think that essentially, if everyone was started doing this sort of zero rating thing, I mean, a key part about that makes this zero rating better than, say, what AT&T does or what Verizon does, is that here they open it to anyone at no cost. And whereas AT&T and Verizon have these programs where you can pay them for data from your server to be sponsored, and that is something we definitely have a problem with.
You have a problem with paying for data? Wait, say that again?
So we have a problem with companies paying for the data from their servers to become free for users.
Right. Yeah. It's a complicated world out there, Jeremy. I think that's why John Legere resorts to some of these tactics that he does. Cuts right through it all. Thanks for joining us, though, to explain what's going on. That's Jeremy Gallullo there from the Electronic Frontier Foundation.
That's why it's called the Frontier. You know, right? When you're at the frontier, like space.
Is there a song that was going to go along with that?